But one thing I did want to watch on stream here, and we'll actually full screen this shit, is a video that one of my confidants sent me. And ironically enough, this is well expected from this confidant. I don't know if they want to remain mysterious or not. What's the right word? Not ambiguous. Private? Anonymous. Anonymous. That's the word. That's the word. I don't know if they want to remain anonymous, but we'll assume that they do. And let's just say I'm not surprised seeing this from them, but also I'm probably gonna I don't want to say bond, but I'm probably gonna vibe with this video a lot, just because in general, and this is gonna bring me on a whole fucking tangent, honestly. In general, um, work in a lot of ways, and this is the weird part of what I'm about to say. I'm about to skip all over the place as I usually do, but even though in human history it's better than it was in a lot of ways. Because obviously, if we go super far back, we had to like survive with no medicine, no fucking toilet paper, no AC, a lot of animals trying to kill us who could kill us, and no guns, just spears and sticks, and God knows what else, maybe a rock or two. So, in a lot of ways, because of modern technology and medicine, things are a lot better. But in a lot of other ways, they are not. Mentally, we are kind of fucked. The younger generations are very cooked in terms of knowledge, in terms of education, and maybe even IQ, who knows. But in a lot of ways, things are not good. And one of the specific ways is the economy, money, and work. Even though society has become so efficient, we are able to do multiple times more work than we were, let's just say 20, 30 years ago. The pay has not reflected that. And obviously, if you've lived life and you're, at least in New York, you've probably heard this a lot before. Probably. So, what I'm saying is nothing really new, but it's true. Oh, God. Ugh. Oh, God. The part of the pepper I got to is pretty bad. Okay, yeah, part of this pepper is definitely not good. Good thing there's not a lot of it. But anyway, so work is a big fucking, the economy is a big fucking, the amount of money we make is a big fucking, and I'm just gonna look at New York because this is like an extreme version of it, but a version that's probably gonna be somewhere else eventually. I feel like New York is just ahead of the curve for a lot of things, bad things even, but we're behind in a lot of ways too. Look at our fucking subway, but this is where we really are working for almost no benefit, and this is terrible because we're not dumb. As time has gone on, people have generally gotten smarter, although they've also gotten dumber and lazier too. When I was a kid, I used to memorize cell phone numbers for my like friends. Now I can't remember almost my own, which is crazy. Not that I need to, but this is what it does. But this is where oh Chinggis, hi Chinggis. Yeah, no, people are dumb and smart in different ways. I would say general knowledge has gone up. For sure, general knowledge has gone up overall, but it's so weird because this really matters by generation. I feel like my generation and the ones before me are pretty good. The ones after me, I think, are just downhill. And obviously, you have the outliers. Obviously, you have the people who don't represent this. But for a majority, I think as you go more fresh, as you pop out the womb sooner, it's kind of just worse for you because you're not learning the things that I had to learn and the generation before me. Like, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. So this is the thing. We're the start of Gen Z. At least I think you and me are. I think you and me, James, are the start of Gen Z. I think you're the very start. Or actually, I think I'm the second generation of Gen Z. So you're the third. You're the third. So I'm the second. I almost started it, but the person above me, whoever that is, the year older, or sorry, yeah, year older than me, is the literal start of Gen Z. But as you get younger, things get worse. But in general, I think overall general knowledge and the ability to acquire knowledge is easier than ever. I mean, I remember this shit in the news. There was the kid who like found some way to test for like cancer or something by using only the internet, and it was like a big deal at the time too because his like uncle got cancer or something. But yeah, I think number one, we're fucked in a lot of ways, but dude, the amount of work we have to do for no thing, and the reason I was saying the smartness thing is because people are not stupid enough to buy into this trick anymore. And it's not even a trick. As far as I know, it used to be the case where you would work one job, you would show loyalty, and you would get what you want. which is a house, kids, wife, and other stuff as long as you weren't sick in the head. If you were sick in the head, then you became like Jeffrey Dahmer or some shit. But you could basically not just survive, but you could thrive doing a lot less efficient stuff than today. Because today we output so much more than we used to, and we make all the less for it. Because where is all that benefit going to? I might get shot for saying this, but it's the top. It's straight to the top. Now, again, this isn't new knowledge by any means. People know this shit, but just to apply it to here. So people aren't stupid in the sense that it's like, why are we working? If there's no point, if we can't live the lives that our forefathers lives, that basically were imprinted on us, like, oh yeah, we want to strive for this. We want to strive for a wife, kids, a house, maybe a pet, a car. Now it's a luxury to even be able to live. It is a luxury to even be able to afford to stay where you're living with shelter and hopefully hot hot water and heat. And that's really sad. And again, people now are saying, like, you used to get made fun of these things, same thing for gaming and anime. You used to get made fun of if you were older and you used to live with your parents. Now the people who are living with their parents are not only encouraged to do so, but they're applauded because it is so fucking bad. Anyway, I'm probably preaching to the choir. I don't need to go more into this than I already have. I probably went too far into it. But let's see what my confidant sent me here. So let's take a look. After that long-winded bullshit, let's see. And I already know where this is going to go. I mean, we could tell by the fucking title, but let's take a look at it and then let's probably speak for an hour and delay all the Hoyo stuff, even though I said I wanted to get to it.
Sometimes I think about how weird it is.
Also, and I said this in the beginning too, this is Black Ops 1. This is near and dear to my childhood. This is probably one of my favorite games of all time, even though I'm probably never going to go back to play it for a long time, if not at all, because I have so many good memories of this, and bad ones too, where like this was the game to be on in middle school. I made so many friends and I spent so much time in this game. There was so many good memories. I would say all of the people I know now that I've known for probably like over 10 years have also played this game with me. Maybe. I don't know if I've known you for over 10 years, James, but obviously we have Auntie, Hunty. I think that's the only people that really lasted, honestly. Grendel, the really old, could solo the whole Black Ops verse? Yeah, probably, yeah.
That most of us spend a third of our lives working.
That is disgusting. I swear to God, I say this all the time now, and there's a lot of things I say. I always say invest in the stock market, do this, do that. And I believe these to be true. One of the major things I'm saying is if we don't blow ourselves up, if we don't kill ourselves through war, disease, pestilence, famine, nukes, whatever it might be, right? The future generation, if AI really goes crazy, is going to look at us in the history books and they're going to think we are fucking Neanderthals, we are cavemen, we are unevolved, and we're savages. Because when you really think about it, and one of the things I heard that COVID did, bro, I'm going to end up talking way longer than this video is, Jesus Christ. One of the things COVID ended up doing, and it did a lot of things, this isn't the only thing it did, but one of the things it ended up doing, according to some people online, is that it opened up our eyes saying, oh yeah, if you go outside, you might die. If you cough on someone, they might die. And, some people say it really opened up our eyes to how short life is. I mean, the whole term YOLO, right? But not only that, but it also showed us, number one, in my opinion, how the rich lived. You could just sit home, make money, not do anything, and live and actually enjoy yourself. And again, this is where in the future I think they're going to look at us, because in the future I believe, hopefully in the bright side, people still won't be working because AI hopefully can do most things. UBI will be a thing because I think it's personally inevitable, and we already have kind of stuff towards that anyway, like social security and pensions and retirement, even though pensions are going away and retirement's tied to the market. But anyway, I think in the future, if things go well and people are monetarily okay, I think they're going to look back to us and they're going to be like, wow, they spent 1/3 of their lives working, 1/3 of their lives sleeping, and 1/3 of their lives trying to catch up on things they have to do aside from work. And they're going to laugh at us because they have it so good and we had it so just generally bad. Like when you sit down and think about it on how bullshit the system is, that we have to play this to the song and dance, it's infuriating when you actually like think about it. It's so bad. Yeah, dude, the people in the government, these things, and our government is so fucking corrupt. I mean, we see it. I don't even know if it's still closed or not, but I think our government is still closed, which is insane because they're just fighting over petty squabbles. I swear to God, some guy said it. I forgot who it was, but I can probably look it up and find it. Not that I really will. But some guy said the main way to fix corruption in government, and this is like a nicer way than I would have thought of personally. They said the main way to fix corruption in government is make it a law. I think it was Warren Buffett actually. Now that I'm remembering it, I think it was Mr. Buffett. The main way to fix corruption in the government is if the inflation rate goes up above 2%, everyone gets automatically fired and ineligible for reelection. At that point, they automatically, by law, lose their power and they can't be in government anymore. And he said, watch how quickly everything will fix itself if that becomes a reality. Now, it never will, as far as I could see it. But man, oh my god, it's so infuriating. And this is where we're getting to a scary time because with AI and with technology and with robots and, robotics and everything advancing and weapons alone, it used to be the case that throughout all of history, yeah, guns kind of evened the playing field and, nukes and everything like that, right? Well, maybe not nukes. Let's exclude nukes, but guns mostly made this not so much the case, but it's still kind of the case. For most of human history, if you had more numbers, you pretty much won. Like, now we're at a time where even if all the poor people, let's just say, I don't know how many people there are in the world. God damn it, I'm not gonna fucking end up watching this video. We're in 4 seconds and we're already talking about all this shit. But let's look at world population, right? 8.142 billion. Okay. So let's just say there's 8 billion poor people, right? And you know what? I'll actually type it in too. Oh shit, that's my mail. No, we can't see that. World population. Okay, 8.142 billion, right? And this is going to pretty much keep going up for a while until it stagnates. But this is where, imagine 8 billion people, 8 billion are poor. If the 8 billion versus the 142 million, and those are the rich people could win. You know why? Because they have the money to buy weapons that can just mass kill us. Never before in history, besides modern times, would that happen. At all points, if the poor people and the middle class people united, we would take them out. We would change things if we wanted, and then it would all happen over again because this is a cycle. But now, they don't even, yeah, exactly. They don't even need to do this because they have fake news, exactly. But this is where, if we were united, that's not even going to happen either, right? But let's just say 8 billion people united, there's still a good argument we would lose just because they can kill so many of us so easily with weapons. It's actually wild. But maybe we win. I still don't say it's easily like 100% one side wins over the other, but the poor people, as time goes on and technology increases, are in such a worse disadvantage. It's crazy. And it's never been like this. It's because of technology. And you would hope these things help, and they have, right? Medicine and tech have helped, but not in the ways I think they should have fully. But either way, basically, what I wanted to say after the first 4 seconds of this video is that they're going to look on us if the future actually improves and things go right. They're going to look at us and just feel bad for us. Man. Yeah, oh man. Once you said United, James, oh man. Let me actually show chat here. Here we go. Now chat's going to be shown. But yeah, dude, insurance is, I mean, this is a whole other topic that could get me going for an hour, but insurance is such a scam. As a person who went for their insurance license in New York State, I had to do all the testing and all the learning and everything, and I actually passed the exam. But man, it is like when I was learning about insurance and how they wanted me to sell, I was like, wow, this is really like a scam. I was like, holy shit, it's right. Like they're right. Bruh, it is crazy. It's beyond a joke. It's immoral, wrong, and disgusting. And again, I hope in the future things improve so they look back and they just laugh at us like, wow, they had it so bad. Thank God we're not them. I really hope that's the case. But anyway, let's watch more than 4 seconds of this video so that way we can see like what else we're gonna talk about. But dude, it is so sad when you think about the reality. And the worst part is, and I say this all the time as well, right? Not only are they gonna look at us in the future if things go well and think like, wow, they were like just so fucked, fuck them, like haha. But I'm also saying like The worst part is in the past we had no choice, right? We have a choice because there's just not enough food to go around. We're just not efficient enough. Let's just say every year at the crop harvest, we make 100 bushels of wheat and we need 80 to feed people. Okay, so we have 20 surplus, right? Oh, let's just say it's a bad harvest next year. We only make 60. We need 80. Okay, we have the 20 from last year. Okay, cool. Back in the day, we just didn't have enough. We weren't as efficient. Technology wasn't as good. Okay, there's literally not enough to go around for the most part, even though there was. I'm making it worse than it actually was, believe it or not. We live in such a world today. I'm getting angry now. We live in such a world today where the top has more money than ever in existence, right? And for a long time, I think a king in Africa held that. What was it? The guy who had all the gold. Oh God, what was his name? Now we're gonna look this shit up too. Who was the African king who had all the gold? Mansa Musa. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say Mansa Musa, but I didn't want to be racist. But I'm glad I was right. So yeah, this guy was extremely rich. He was extremely rich. Watch this shit. Ready? Mansa Musa net worth. So he had around 400 billion in modern currency. For a long time, no one had that until current day. Until current day, no one even reached that number. And now we're surpassing that and we're getting into the trillion. So it's not a question of if there's enough anymore. It's a question of do we want to, just help people and spread it. And this is where it's the same thing with food. We have more than enough to food to feed the entire world. And wasn't there like a thing where Elon Musk like argued like, yeah, if someone could make this for me, then I'll do it. I'll help. And literally, I think the United Nations or something made like a document explaining how they could do it if they had the money. And I think he just ignored it like a fucker. But or he probably debased it saying like, "Oh, it's not accurate, it's not realistic." He probably just argued it. But I remember that was a thing where regardless, we essentially what I'm saying is we make enough, we produce enough now to where it's not a question of do we have enough, it's a question of logistics and greed. And that's a good problem to have. It's a better problem than hey, do we just have enough? And the answer is no. The answer is yes, and now we're up to the next problem of okay, now we're just greedy. It's a bad problem, but it's better than having nothing. Also, before I keep going, because I'm already talking a shit ton, let me go get some drink. Let me go get some perp drink. Hmm. And the worst part is I'm so fucking hungry, man. I'm so hungry. I barely ate anything today, man. I'm hungry. Okay, anyway, let's keep going.
Like not living, not dreaming, not resting, just working. For a
Just,
company, for
oh my god, just slaving.
boss, for rent. And what's even weirder is that nobody really questions it.
That's
Like,
the worst part. And again, this is what I said. Even if we start to question it, I think it's mainly too late now. I think either the government or the rich people have so much power, we're not going to be able to like do anything after questioning it because things are just so stuck in place. And that's if we all become united, which I don't think we will. Media is going to fuck that up.
yeah, man, just pick a career you don't hate too much and grind until you die.
Yay.
Cool. That's the plan. I mean, think about it. We spend the most alert, most energetic hours of our days inside buildings we don't own.
I literally, and it's called going postal, I heard. There's people who, if they sit at a desk for too long, because humans are not meant to be this way, I thoroughly believe that too. Where, the term going postal is, I think, either from a movie or from something, I don't know what. But it's like if you sit at a desk, and I've seen so many TikToks about this where young people are basically saying, like, yeah, I don't want to live this way. This feels like torture. And as a person who kind of had to do this for a while, where, oh my God, yeah, this fucking pepper went bad. Ew. Where I had a job one time as like a mail clerk, and I was in a place with no internet access because it was blocked, like where I was, it wasn't good connection. I literally had to stare at a wall for most of the day because we weren't even busy, which was a good thing and a bad thing, right? It was a good thing because yeah, I didn't have to work, but honestly, working also made the time pass by quicker, and then I chatted with people when I was working too. But man, I had to just sit there staring at a wall, and I actually felt like I was going crazy. I was like, dude, this is torture. You know what the main way to torture someone is? Deprive them of any stimulus. It's actually torture.
Solving problems we didn't create for goals we don't believe in. And then we come home, try to decompress in the 2 hours before bed, and
Exactly. And this is the worst part, and this is a big reason why I probably like lose sleep a lot is because one, I'm stressed as fuck. But two, it's because if you want to have any semblance of doing what you want, you have to sacrifice something. And most of the time for me, that's sleep because there's just not enough hours in the day. And if the day had more hours, we'd probably be working more too.
call that a life. It's wild. Even as kids, we were being prepped for this. Remember those moments in elementary school when teachers would ask, "What do you want to be when you grow up?"
Not poor.
Like our whole existence was already being funneled into some job title. Not who do you want to be, but what job are you going to fit into? That question used to excite
This is where people who love their job, I think, are just blessed.
me.
Now, whether they've gone crazy and they've been forced to accept their job, who knows?
Now it just feels like the first draft of a trap. And the
Uh,
irony? Nobody tells you that even if you get the job you dreamed of, it might still
bro, this guy's really playing Search and Destroy, by the way. This shit's crazy.
suck. Because it's not about the job, it's about the system that wraps around it.
This is where I actually know people where they wanted to go into a field. They went into the field and they thought of it one way, and then in reality, it's not really that way. And they're like, damn, this is not what I expected. This is not what I wanted. But I spent 4 to 5 years going to college for this, and now I have to do this. Unless I want to spend 4 or 5 more years going to a different college, maybe two if they're lucky. And then, going more into debt and doing this and that. Basically, most of the time you have to put up with it because most things in life just suck and are shitty and it's terrible.
The hours, the emails, the performance reviews, the fake smiles, the pressure to always be doing
Ah,
more.
yes,
It's not just that
corporate.
we work too much, it's that we live too little. And yet,
Yep.
everyone just nods and keeps going.
We have no
Like there's some invisible
choice.
conveyor belt we're all riding, and no one wants to be the one who steps off first. There's this quote from Orwell's 1984,
Oh
the one that
no.
says, "Who controls the present controls the past." And I
Oh
think about
man.
that every time I see a post romanticizing
Information is one of the most powerful things ever, man. It's crazy.
hard work or hustle culture. Like, who
Fuck
decided
that
that our work
shit.
should be tied to our productivity? Who sold us that dream?
This is, I'm gonna stop the video here. Not, we're gonna come back to it, but I want to actually show someone. So, I've been seeing this guy on TikTok, and I think this guy is fucking hilarious. And when I heard this, I was like, "There's no way he's actually real with this shit. Like, there's no way what he's saying is actually legit." But honestly, it might be. Let me see if I can find him here. Here he is.
I'm I'm quitting, y'all. I give up. I tried. At the end of the month,
I think this guy's so funny.
I'm out. I already put my two days. I don't give a fuck. I put something in. Let them know I'm leaving. No, I just sent a text message. But anyways, I'm leaving, y'all. I feel like this job is not for me only because like they constantly tell me what to do. They constantly micromanage me. They constantly
Now, to be fair, if this is not a joke, I think he's somewhat in the wrong, but that might be because I've been conditioned to. That might be because I've honestly been conditioned to assume, okay, what's normal, what's not. I honestly don't even know what's right and wrong anymore when it comes to work because at one point it's like I'm a very by the rules guy. Okay, you give me a job, I do it, you give me pay for that job, right? We agree to certain things. A lot of the times, either A, the pay is not enough, which is already wrong to you, to the worker, and number two, a lot of companies, I'm not saying every company, but most companies like to overstep their bounds. They like to overstep their bounds and make you do more than what you're hired for and more than what you're supposed to do as per the contract. And then if they can't fire you for that, for not doing what you're supposed to, if they're trying to fire you for doing something you're not supposed to be doing per the contract, they'll fire you for another reason anyway.
say how many breaks I can have. Like I don't like shit like that. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like people sitting there and being like, "Oh, you can't take 5 breaks a day. You can't do
Okay, that part is crazy personally. Like I wish that was normal. I wish that was like more of how it is, but that actually sounds kind of insane.
none of that shit." Like that shit is so fucking weird to me. And I'm probably such a great worker. Like I be helping when I can. I be offering to take my break first. You know what I'm
This guy is so fucking funny.
saying? I feel like that's very selfless. Like, I let other people get their hours in, you feel me? if they ask me, oh, do you want to come in? I'd be like, no, like, you know, you can just give that to somebody else, someone that actually like really needs the hours. You feel me? Like, I feel like that's really generous of me. And I feel like they really do take me for granted because I'm such an amazing worker. Like, this job is really stressful.
I don't think this guy is an amazing worker if you're doing 5 breaks. But I'm still on his side because however much he's hurting them, companies hurt the workers so much more by not giving enough pay, not offering good retirement pensions. Pensions are basically almost non existent now. And again, retirement, a lot of people don't really know what to do for retirement because they're not financially literate because they don't teach you this shit in school. Now, I can have a whole other video about the financial education system and how bad that is, but I don't want to do that. But man,
To me out my face.
and you know what sucks too on the idea of why we need a good job? What job is even good anymore is the big question. Is it just one that pays well or one you enjoy doing? Hopefully it's both, which is really hard to get. But this is the thing that kills me. And obviously there's arguments for this. You can use the argument, oh, it's more specialized, it's more complex, it's more responsibility. But at the end of the day, the way it is right now, the higher you get paid, I feel like for most of jobs, the less you work. Honest to God. Now, again, the work could be specialized. Maybe you need a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge to do it. But when I think of the poor McDonald's worker who slaves away at almost every minute of the day, they make next to nothing. I can very easily say they do more work than some people I know making near 100K. Like, make the people who make near 100K do less work than the McDonald's worker and do less work than I do in general. Again, there's always going to be like outliers, but from what I've seen from my personal life experience, and I know these people too personally, and even me, I can say I make more than a McDonald's worker, no fucking duh, and I do less work than them, absolutely. And I just think in general, the less you get paid, the more work you kind of have to do, which doesn't make sense to me. And again, there's always ways to explain this with specialization, with complexity, with knowledge, with requirements. But let's be real. A lot of jobs, the requirements are bullshit. As long as you have a head on your shoulders, they could teach it to you. They just want you to be like the upper echelon and they don't really want to take a chance on people. But let's get past that.
This is breaking out. My fucking hair on my face is just. I just need a haircut, and I just feel ugly, and I just feel disgusting. So this
I
job
feel that way
is
too
look.
when I'm
It's no way I should be
employed.
coming here looking crazy like this, and y'all just yeah. It's so tiring at this place. Like right now, I'm on my 5th break today. I usually try to take like 6, but I kind of like done like lowered it to 5. Plus, I put my time in for vacation. They didn't even fucking give it to me, so it's like, bitch, y'all don't
Nah, this is where I fully agree with him with this. This whole idea of probationary periods and all this shit is such a scam, bruh.
fucking like me. And they was like, oh, you're in a probation period. Bitch, I've been here for like years. I started in August
Okay, now listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to what he says here. He just exposed himself.
and it's October. I've been here for 3 months. That's a long time. So I really feel like it's time, like, it's ran its course here. Like, I've been here for so fucking long. Like, this job is like, I've been in this job for like months, literally. It's funny because I just got written up because, okay, my shift started at 3 o'clock and I came in at 6 o'clock and I didn't tell nobody because they know the time I come in. I either come at 3 o'clock, I come in at 5, or I come in at 6 o'clock. What the fuck? Like, it doesn't matter. Just, they know I'm coming, so what?
I thought this was a skit. I don't think it's a skit because I get more of his videos.
What is the problem? But they're like, oh, you gotta let somebody know. I don't gotta let you bitches know nothing about me. I'm quitting, y'all. I give up. I tried. At the end of the month, I'm out. I already put my two.
So I'm gonna show you one more video before we go back to the main one. This guy is so fucking funny, yo. Also, what the fuck is this? Wait, hold on. Let me hide this screen here just in case this is something bad. What is this? Oh my god. Okay. This is a form for him to prank call someone. I'm gonna show this. What is this? Look at this shit. What is this? Oh, hold up. No. Oh. Nah, thank you. Nah, calor. Thank you. My god, I got more food. No, he doesn't have an OnlyFans, I think. But anyway, look at this shit. Look at this shit. This shit is so funny to me, yo.
So I have more work drama. Why do I have work drama and I don't even have a
He does sound zesty.
fucking job, bitch? These bitches, they so obsessed. You bitches are obsessed with me. This is my last time speaking about you bitches at that job. Bam, a coworker called me today. She was like, yeah, Sid, like, they real pissed. I'm like, why the fuck they mad? I don't even work there no more. They said, oh, you made fun of somebody's cat. You made fun of somebody being bald and called them saying they breath stink with this, that, and the third. Well, what? You want me to lie? The bitch was bald. The bitch fucking...
Okay, we don't gotta go through more of that, but bruh, this shit is so funny. But yeah, I think it's real. I think it's real because you see the journey. Like, you see the journey. I'm getting his videos all the time. They're so funny, yo. He's so fucking angry. It doesn't look real. I thought so too. I'm not gonna lie, I thought so too, but
don't give a fuck. My whole thing is, why the fuck would I let you bitches tell me what the fuck to do? And unfortunately, I will have to find a new job because apparently I found out that when I'm off, they all get in like a little circle, little group and talk about me. And a couple weeks ago, my manager who sat there and like folded up when he tried to lift the heavy ass table. So he's back at work and he found the TikTok or I made and he came to me and tried to check me. He was like, hey, yeah, I saw that video you made. I was wondering, could you take it down? Like, I just feel like you shouldn't be making no videos about nobody at work in your uniform. No, you're just mad because the world knows you.
I think he's a courier or something. And he has a good point here. I mean, listen, the point they make, which is valid, is number one, he's doing this on company time and he's taking 5 breaks. That's obviously wrong. He shouldn't be doing that. But in his defense, he's not using any names and we don't know where he works.
Crunched like a fucking bug, bitch. I'm like, why the fuck you watching my shit, bitch? Do I need to report you for being a fucking weirdo? He was like, yeah, I saw it blow up. It was on my FYP, so scroll. And he gonna sit there and say, yeah, unfortunately, like I did have to report that you've been taking a little bit more breaks than usual. What do you mean than usual? I take my 5 breaks a day. I've always taken 5 breaks a day. I don't take any more and no less. He was like, yeah, that's too many. You're only supposed to get 1. Who the fuck told you that? I get as many as I fucking feel like it.
Okay, see, that's the crazy part. Now, I think he's right for taking 5 breaks. I think that's what should be normal. I think, and studies have shown this, by the way. I think that people are most efficient when they're not overworked. Now, the question is how much work is overwork. I think that differs per person. But there have been studies that show, like, number one, the biggest thing they told us in school when I was younger was like, oh yeah, you have to work like straight a couple hours. That's good. And this is where that has been debunked. Science has proven, as far as I could tell, that we could, like, the most efficient that humans are, we could focus the most when we do, like, I think 15 minutes on or 15 minutes off or some shit like that. But basically, I know for a fact, according to science of the current age, that we are not efficient if we work for too long, that we should take constant breaks. It's actually beneficial to us because we're more efficient that way. Which then makes you question, why are we working for 7 or 8 hours a day? We shouldn't be working those hours straight because we're going to get fried. Most people will. I'm sure there's people who could do it, but most people will get fried.
So mad because this job just does everything in their power to just mess with me. Like, they just keep bothering me and doing weird stuff to me. Like, I don't be bothering nobody. Like, I don't talk about nobody. I don't speak on nobody. I just mind my business. And they always just find, I'm just always the problem. And that's just so unfortunate.
It's so funny, bruh. I don't know. I think jobs, and I'll give you the example, right? Without going into too much detail about where it was. In most of my last jobs, besides I would say this one, especially the one before this one where I worked in a law firm, they wanted me to be working every minute of every day, where they time tracked me. And I was the mail clerk, by the way. Even though that's not all I did, and you know that personally, James, but this is where well, I don't know if you know this part, but they had a time tracker on all of us. And if you were not doing anything for 5-10 minutes, they would call you, be like, what are you working on? What are you doing? Why are you not working? Like, it was insanity. It was insanity that these jobs that I had personally, like this law firm job, it required a lot of logical thinking. And they wanted me to be working for the full 7 hours I was there. I was like, bruh. Yeah, and you know why Google employees take a lot of breaks? Number one, because they get paid so much. And number two, because the people who employ them are not stupid. They probably know the science that if you take often breaks, you're going to be more efficient. Now, in terms of menial, simple labor, I don't know if that's the case, right? I think if it's something simple and not too tiring, you could probably do it for longer than 15 minutes and just be okay if it's something that's not too crazy. But a lot of jobs require a lot more than that, and they want you to keep working for longer than you should, personally.
Because let's be honest, most jobs today don't feel like dreams. They feel like traps.
They feel like fucking nightmares.
And I know someone's going to say Gen Z just doesn't want to work, but maybe
Not
it's not
true.
that. Maybe we're just not
This is where,
the next
oh
day.
fuck, I skipped ahead. This is where it's not that we don't necessarily want to work. You know what it partly is? Well, number one, I personally don't want to work. I don't see a point to it. If there was a point to it, I feel like more people would want to work, but there's no point. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's, hey, work so you don't die. That's the only thing driving us.
Work. But maybe it's not that. Maybe we're just not willing to destroy ourselves for jobs that don't even cover the cost of living. Like minimum
Yes.
wage hasn't kept up with inflation in years.
I think there was a report that came out recently, too, that said, at this point, I don't know if it just hit this, if it was like this and they just found out, but this is where they said, at this point, minimum wage cannot cover rent in any city. Minimum wage is not enough. You need at least 2 jobs to cover rent in a city now. It's crazy. Who else is going to take your order and shit? Ain't doing it yet. It's getting there. It's getting there. Think about this. You know, unless there's a law passed, businesses are going to adopt AI because it's so much more efficient for the business. Because they don't have to pay the insurance. The AI can work like 24/7. It probably costs them almost nothing compared to a worker. A worker has so much cost associated with it. So when AI really gets going, it's going to put so much people out of a job, and there's going to be less jobs overall that are simple. There might be more complex jobs, but not everyone can do those jobs because a lot of people are stupid. So the problem is when more and more simple jobs get axed and people, regular people, cannot get a job, are they going to finally implement UBI, or are they just going to be okay with more of the population just being poor and destitute? I think personally the second one, until it reaches a tipping point. And like I said, when poor people, when a lot of people are poor and destitute and we start, fighting back, I don't think we really have a chance personally with technology, man.
Rent is ridiculous. College degrees feel like scams half the time.
Yes, they do.
And somehow, when we say, hey, the system doesn't work, people call us lazy. It's like
The people who say the system, the people who are calling us lazy, the people who had the system work for them, older people.
imagine you're in a burning building, and instead of asking for help, you're told to stay and be grateful you even have a building.
Huh.
Sometimes I think about the way job interviews feel like auditions.
Bro, job interviews are just fucking like talent shows almost. Like you got to show off why you're better than everyone else
You're supposed to smile, act
and act fake as fuck. Like you wanted this whole job your whole entire life. It is so fake.
enthusiastic, be the best version of yourself, but not too real. Just polished enough to seem human, but obedient enough to follow orders. It's weird how we're judged for how good we are at pretending. Like the job starts before the job starts. And it
Yeah.
never really stops. That's what
I've heard this term and it really is so true. It is a job just to find a job. With how hard it is nowadays, it is literally a job in and of itself to get a new job.
a lot of jobs feel like. I had this job once during the pandemic, just retail stuff, standing 8 hours a day trying to upsell Bluetooth speakers to people who didn't even want to talk to me. And every time I took a breath, my manager would pop up like, let's stay active, team. Like, bro, I'm literally just trying to exist. Let me.
You know what's kind of sad too? While managers are annoying and stuff, unless they're at the top of the line, they usually got someone breathing down their neck too. So it's like partly what are they supposed to do?
Exist. And then there was this other job, remote customer support. Sounds chill, right? But somehow, sitting alone at a desk, being watched through a webcam while answering the same 5 questions 100 times a day felt
Eh,
even more draining. I'd mute my mic,
bro, society just feels so fucked, man.
lean back, and just stare at the ceiling while someone yelled at me about a late shipment.
Eh,
My supervisor once pinged me on Slack like, "Hi, I noticed your typing speed dropped this hour. Everything okay?" And I just wanted to type back, "No, Lauren.
no, fuck you.
Everything is not okay. I think I'm slowly dissolving into my chair." I had this coworker, Sam Cool Guy, mid 20s, used to DJ before the pandemic. We'd DM each other during shifts just to stay sane. One day he sent me this
Eh,
message that just said, "I miss having a soul." I laughed, but I felt
Bruh, the fact that people are saying this, is this not a cause for concern? Now, another anecdote here about what I've heard, which may or may not be true, was that kids today, or I'll say teens to young adults, really, have the same stress levels as like mental asylum patients, which is crazy. I don't even know how they measure that personally, but another thing I've heard in our benefit.
Felt that deeply. We were both working full time and somehow felt like we were disappearing. It wasn't the work, it was the emptiness. And I remember
And don't even get me fucking started on dating culture and everything. Everything just seems so fucked for so many people. Economy's fucked. Job market's fucked. Money is fucked. The dating scene is fucked. The gaming scene is fucked because games kind of suck ass now. Everything almost seems fucked, man. Listen. Tuk Sohor is. It's the drug that isn't good, but it helps the pain a little bit. Everyone has their vice.
coming home
And good lord, do people need it now more than ever.
every night completely drained, not just tired, like physically exhausted. I'm talking about the kind of burnout that makes you forget what joy feels like. You get home, lie on the floor,
This is why I cannot wait till I'm unemployed. God damn it.
stare at the ceiling, and wonder, is this it? Is this what being an adult is?
This
And
is
maybe it
terrible.
is. Maybe adulthood is just a slow surrender.
Wow,
Waking
that
up,
guy's name
clocking
sucked.
in, clocking out, swiping your card at the grocery store and praying it doesn't decline. Smiling when your landlord
Listen, I said this before too. People who love their job are so blessed they don't even know. They don't even know.
raises the rent and telling yourself it's just the market. But here's the thing nobody wants to admit. The reason Gen Z bounces from jobs, the reason we ghost employers or quit too soon, isn't because we're weak. It's because we notice when something's off. We feel it. That soul deep discomfort. The red flag.
You know what I question? And I said this before too. Do people, I'm sure there's people who generally do like their jobs because some jobs are good, but are people brainwashing themselves into being okay with jobs so they don't go crazy? Like, is the mind adapting to take more shit?
The quiet realization that we're being slowly erased by a system that doesn't care if we burn out, as long as we hit our KPIs. We don't wait for it to break us. We leave. And yeah, maybe that makes us look unstable. But maybe instability is better than being stuck in something that kills you slowly. I once quit a job
It's fucking poison.
after 2 weeks. Not because I couldn't handle it, but because the vibes were off. It was one of those open floor offices where everyone has standing desks, and they give you kombucha on Fridays like that's supposed to make up for soul death.
Huh?
The second day, I overheard a manager say, "We're not just a team, we're a family."
Oh, that's a red fucking flag 99% of the time.
And I was like, nope.
No,
I've seen what happens in those families. The
they abuse
gaslighting,
each
the
other.
guilt tripping, the forced loyalty. I walked out the next Monday and never looked back. There's this illusion that loyalty matters. Like if you work hard enough, long enough, the company will take care of you.
No, they won't.
But I've seen people get laid off for the two-line email. I've seen coworkers give years to a job only to be replaced the next day. And somehow, we're the ungrateful ones. I remember this dude at my old job who worked there for a decade, never took sick days, always on time, model employee.
That's
Then
me.
one day he tweaked his back lifting a box.
To this day, in my entire life, I think I've been late to a job, I think no more than 5 times. And most of those times were out of my control. I think there was no time ever I was ever late to a job of my own volition in my entire life. And when I tell employers this, they think I'm lying, and I'm not. My one employer literally thought, like, when I was interviewing for the job, they're like, "Oh, you're lying to me. Like, everyone's late to a job." I'm like, "Nope, not me." And to that job, I was only late one day because my train hit someone, like physically hit someone. Aside from that one day where my train literally had to have the police come, I was never late to that job ever. And I worked there for almost 2 years.
And boom, gone. No warning. Just thanks for your service. And it got me thinking, how many of our
Oh,
relationships
you
are built on
stopped
that
it. Wow,
same
you're pretty
one-sided faith?
strong.
We don't stay in friendships where the other person ghosts us for weeks. We don't stay in relationships where we're constantly the only one showing up.
Oh my god. And then this is another tragedy too. Relationships are so much based on economics now. It's so sad.
But with work, we're expected to keep proving ourselves again and again for scraps of approval. In school, at least, you knew what the rules were. Study, take the test, get the grade. But with
School is
jobs,
simple
it's this
sometimes,
shape-shifting
man.
mess of politics and fake smiles and pretending to care
Jobs,
about
they tell you, yeah, all you have to do is pick up this box, put it over there. But then they really want you to like do like fucking like Excel sheets and everything. They're like, oh yeah, this is just extra. But it wasn't in the job description. Oh yeah, well you have to do it or you're fired. Fuck you.
quarterly reports. You're not just trying to be good, you're trying to be liked. You're performing constantly. It's no wonder we've got trust issues. Every system we were told to believe in, school, jobs, adulthood, feels like a bait and switch. And the more we
Feels
see
like a
it, the harder it
fucking
is to keep
man.
pretending we don't. And that stuck with me. Like, they really don't care. And it
Uh,
makes you think, what am I working toward? A pat on the back?
and the worst part is, we're, largely, even though I believe we're animals, we're fucked up at our cores. We like sick things in general. The id, the ego, the superego, Freud. This is where I do believe, we have sensitive parts to us. We want love, we want companionship, we want, care and compassion. And the worst part is, if you don't have a good home life, if you don't have like parents that love and support you, you're not going to get that shit from a job. And if your parents aren't giving it to you, where else are you supposed to get it? Friends nowadays are like really hard to come by that are actually good, decent people. And then the job doesn't give a shit. Friends usually don't give a shit if you even have any that are real at all. And then if your parents are fucked, you're basically fucked. You don't know love. And then it fucks crazy.
A LinkedIn endorsement? A certificate of participation in the corporate Hunger Games? So when people say Gen Z has no work ethic, what they really mean is we have boundaries. We don't romanticize suffering.
Yeah, and you know what the worst part is? With our boundaries, we're the ones who are going to get fucked by all this. The system isn't going to change for us, man. We're not strong enough.
We're not impressed by 60-hour work weeks and no
That is disgusting. Even a 40-hour work week already disgusts me.
vacation. That's not grind.
Exactly. You know what the workplace is going to say to your boundaries? Fuck you, we'll get some other sap who's poor enough to have to work for us. Because a lot of working isn't voluntary, it's coerced.
That's survival, and we're tired of just surviving. You know what's wild? A lot of us grew up being told, just go to college, get a job, and everything will be fine. Like life was this simple three-step process. But now we've got degrees collecting dust and job listings asking for 5 years of experience for an entry-level position that pays 15 an hour. So yeah,
Hopefully I don't forget this, but I do want to say something at the end about the confidant who sent me this. Now, some people might be able to assume who sent me this. Again, I'm going to keep them anonymous for privacy reasons, but definitely, I hope to remember to say what I'm thinking at the end here.
we're questioning things because the math doesn't add up, not anymore. And what makes it worse is the gaslighting. Boomers love saying stuff like, when I was your age, I already had a house and 2 kids. Cool, Steve. Houses used to cost as much as a used Honda. Now I can't even afford a
True.
studio apartment without a roommate who vapes indoors
You might be pretty right, James.
and never does the dishes. But somehow, we're the problem. We grew up watching our parents grind themselves into dust and still struggle. They did everything right. Stayed loyal, worked overtime.
You know what the parents didn't do? Again, because there's no financial literacy or education in this country? They didn't invest. If people invested, man, God, like, it sucks because it's like a circle jerk game where everyone who participates is kind of locked in and you kind of have to do it. It's like a game you're almost forced to play if you want to be rich, but it does kind of work from what we've seen. It's like a forced game that everyone has to keep playing, but if people keep playing it, it's going to keep working.
Never complained, and they still got laid off, still lost their pensions, still couldn't retire. So yeah, we're skeptical.
Pension?
We
What
don't want
is
to follow a
that?
path that ends in regret. We want a path that ends in peace, or at least a little less suffering. There's this other
That's one thing I do think, and this is all a cycle, right? It's like this circle where it's like, oh, let me get the circle if I can here for visual aid purposes. So there's a circle here, right? Well, they showed us a circle sometimes, but this is basically what it is. Oh, here's the circle. Here's the circle. Hold on, we got it right here, and it's in stock. Wow. Oh wow, it's only 1388. Look at that. Whoa. But yeah, here's the circle. So let's open this image. Here we go. So hard times, I know it's a little blurry, but hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. This is a pretty honest cycle, I think, because this is where I think our generation and the people kind of suffering from these things around our generation we have a lot of like understanding and kindness and compassion for these type of things, unlike the boomers who are our bosses and who don't realize how hard things and who are assholes, right? They don't realize how hard things are and they're kind of dickheads about it because they don't know. But because we know, we're probably going to be okay bosses, I hope, if we ever even get to that point. And then because we're okay bosses, people are going to have it easy, and when they become bosses, they're probably going to be asshole shitheads. This is the constant cycle of life, sadly. But because we are going through such difficulty, hopefully we have a higher penchant for kindness. Hopefully.
Other layer too. It's not just that jobs don't pay enough, it's that they expect everything from you: your time, your mental health, your identity.
Your soul,
Ever
your
notice how work
allegiance.
slowly becomes your personality? You stop saying what you like to do. You start saying what you do for a living.
Bruh, I almost never, when I get into a job, because this could be sometimes, most of the time, used against you, either in like casual gossip or in actual job sense where they like hold it against you, especially with social media. I don't tell anyone at work shit for the most part. Unless I think you're cool, I do not say shit to you. I don't tell you what I like. I don't tell you what I do. I keep it ambiguous. Oh, hey, what'd you do over the weekend? Oh, I just chilled out. I stayed home. Oh, you do that every weekend. You don't even know what the fuck I do, man. I sound like Sid right now, but this is where, like I said, James, and I'm not, I'm not trying to like say details, but I think the higher you go, the better people you're likely to find because you're not getting to the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, I'm in tech. I'm a barista. I work in marketing. But what about the rest of you? The part that writes music at 2 a.m., the part that sketches anime characters in the margins of your notebook, the part that's still trying to
Anime
figure things out.
characters?
It's like
Whoa.
the world only values us for what we produce, not for who we are. Capitalism has this creepy way of absorbing.
You know what this guy sounds like right now? It sounds like he's tired of being a man because men aren't valued unless we produce something. Women and children are intrinsically valued for being themselves. Men and children, when they grow up into men, people don't give a shit about men for the most part.
Everything. Even your hobbies start to feel like business opportunities.
You know what's crazy? Retail, and this is any job to me personally, but I worked retail for about, I would say 3 months over the summer. Maybe a little bit more in some other jobs too if we add them up. But I worked retail. I worked in a deli. I don't know if you count that as retail. I would because I had to interact only with the public for the most part and, cater to their whims, literally. But I actually found it quite fun, aside from like some things here and there. It really depends on who you work with. Yeah, the work was whatever. I think the work is like whatever. But I honestly don't mind the work if I work with good people. But the problem is it's retail, so who the fuck wants to work that shit? So you're probably not going to get good people. But yeah, James, it's like you said, yo, who's going to stock the shelves? That's a day. That's a day of joy and love. No, it's a day of work and pain. But yeah, no, this is where like it's so sad because someone does need to do it. That's why hopefully AI and robotics goes crazy over the like next 10 years, hopefully. And then we could finally rest. That's all we want. See, people in our generation and around us have been abused. I honestly think work is abuse. It's a civil rights, human rights violation, and it needs to stop because at this point we're just so tired and so being. We just want like rest, man. That's all I want. Now, granted, when people get rest, then they start to get a little crazy because then they got what they want, then they want more. And that's when the sick individuals come out. But at least for me, I think all I want is some rest, a nice girl, nice games, and call it a day, man. That's it. Hopefully, I don't get more greedier than that. I think what I want is pretty greedy, but not greedier than what everyone else wants, for the most part.
Paint? Cool. You should sell prints. You write? You should monetize that blog. It's like we're not allowed to just be anymore. We have to be marketable, sellable, brandable. You ever try explaining to someone?
Dude, I remember playing on these maps, by the way, in the gameplay. At this point, it was like, what? Oh my god, how am I? 25? 15? Like, what, 15 years ago I played on this shit? Oh my god, and I remember these maps still, too. I'm telling you, this game was such a core game to my childhood.
And that you're just figuring things out?
This is where I first got into zombies. God, I love this game.
And they look at you like you're broken, like you missed a deadline for becoming a fully optimized adult. But maybe that's what this generation is rejecting. The idea that your value is tied to
He
output,
got clapped.
that your soul is a subscription service, that your passion isn't valid unless it earns rent money. We're not broken.
This is where it's so sad that, and this is just the reality. I don't necessarily blame it for being this way, but it's really sad that it ends up like this. You are judged for the most part by most people, especially if you're trying to get into a relationship, by how successful you are, especially monetarily. If you don't make a lot of money, you must be a loser. And most of the time, sadly, it's true. If you don't make a lot of money, you probably are a loser. But that's not always the case. Most of the time, well, not most of the time, I don't know if I should even say that, but a lot of the times, it's not directly the case where you're a loser if you make no money, but most of the time it is.
We're
Exactly. This, like I keep saying this over and over with everything I'm saying in this like little video. It's all dependent. There's always going to be outliers, but outliers are not what's general.
just tired of being converted into LinkedIn bios. There's this
I fucking hate LinkedIn.
pressure to brand yourself, to become a product. Even on apps, it's like show your value.
And again, we could go into capitalism, we could go into marketing, we could go into, money, a lot more money stuff, but let's just keep it going. But yeah, he's touching on a lot of different topics.
What's your niche? What's your edge? And I get it, it's survival. But I also miss when people were just people, not content, not commodities, just existing without needing to
This is how people were in the past, man.
optimize every part of themselves. I don't want to be a walking pitch deck. I just want to be a person. And that's where it starts to feel like 1984. Like we're all just tiny cogs in a machine we didn't build and don't control. The system tells you what's real, what's valuable, what's acceptable. You don't question it, you just comply. You ever sit in a meeting and think, why does this feel like theater?
Dude, I sit in a meeting and I think, man, I just don't want to be here, man.
Everyone's not
Dude, I really feel like even with all the Hassan stuff, nothing's gonna really change. I've heard so many things. I don't even know the reality because I'm employed. I don't have time for this bullshit. But I heard like the current thing. Yeah. Oh, boo hoo. He lost followers. Nothing's changed. The biggest thing I heard was like, oh, it went from no, it's not a shock collar, to oh, it's a vibrator, to oh, shock collars aren't that bad, to oh, it's a shock collar, but shock collars are good. Like I heard so many different things.
nodding, saying buzzwords like synergy and touch points, and you're just sitting there wondering how we all agreed to pretend this matters. That's the part that freaks me out. The performance. How work isn't just about doing your job, it's about looking like you care, like you belong. Even if
Like you wanted this your entire life since before birth.
it's slowly eating you alive. Sometimes I think we're all Winston from 1984, rewriting our own memories to fit the company
I'm not gonna lie, when he said Winston, I thought of the fucking gorilla.
narrative. No, I wasn't exhausted. I was just passionate. No, I didn't cry in the bathroom. I was just
You know what the scary part is? I don't think there's any way to improve it or to make it better. You just gotta get lucky and hope either A, you somehow get rich off of a niche or a talent you have, and even that takes its own luck in and of itself. I think this video is literally just doom posting. I think that's literally all it is.
taking a wellness break. It's dystopia
Because if this guy had the answer, if there was an answer, people would be using it, and either A, it would get exhausted and then not everyone could use it anymore, or B, it just doesn't exist.
disguised as routine. But here's the thing, Gen Z sees through it. We're not
Wow, he just fucking threw that.
hypnotized by titles or status. We
Ooh, I said this part, I said this already.
don't dream of corner offices. We dream of peace, of time, of doing work
Okay, I don't think all of us dream of peace. To be honest, I really don't think all of us dream of peace. I think some of us are sick, but most of us dream of peace. That's what I honestly dream of. I just want peace in my life, man. Even for like the last year, I would say I've been dealing with so much bullshit family wise. Just, forget about job, family wise, relationship wise. I'm not talking about a girlfriend, imagine if I had that. But all I've been saying for especially for the last like 2-3 months, if not the last 6 months, what do I really want right now? I just want peace, man. I just want peace in my life. And then when I get peace, I'm probably gonna want something a little crazier. But
that doesn't make
right now, I want peace. I just want to not be upset and annoyed by things anymore.
us hate waking up. And yeah, that might mean quitting.
Dude, you know what's so sad? This is where, and it's probably like this for a lot of people. I've only had a couple times in the last couple years where I've had moments where I was excited for the next day. There's so many times where I'm just like, damn it. Like, yeah, time is passing, and in some ways it's good, especially for my investments. But for the most part, I'm like, damn. Yeah, it's only really games that does it, honestly. Games and investing is the only things making me look forward to the future. And the last games that made me think that was Hollow Knight and Warframe. Aside from those two games, it's like, Maybe a little bit of Lethal Company. I actually really enjoyed playing Lethal with everyone. That was a pretty fun game with everyone. I wouldn't necessarily say I was elated to like wake up the next day and play it some more though, but it was a nice time. But aside from that, it's just like, damn, I guess I'm going to the next day. Whoopee, I wonder what new problems there's gonna be.
Jobs that suck. That might mean trying 10 different things before something sticks. That might mean freelancing or gig work or starting some
That's
random niche
crazy.
YouTube channel and hoping it connects. But we're not lazy. We're just not willing to sell our souls for a paycheck that doesn't even pay for therapy. And look, I get it. The system's messed up, but we still need money. We still need to eat, pay rent, help our families survive. I'm not saying we should all just vibe in the woods and hope for the best. I'm saying we're allowed to want more than just survival. We're allowed to ask, what kind of life is this building me toward?
Yeah, we're allowed to ask it, but asking it does nothing.
Because if all we're doing is working to afford the things that numb us from work, then what's the point?
Then that's where it's a cycle, and the people who figured that out before us are the ones profiting off of it.
I used to think happiness was this big, dramatic thing, like a fireworks
It's sometimes very simple, man.
show or some huge breakthrough.
You know what's sad? I think there's people like me who can't stop thinking. Like, I'm incapable of not thinking. I think too much and I can't stop it. And it's like, it's just, I'm just cursed. There's people who are just blessed because they're either okay with work or they find a good job or they're okay with taking it up the ass, who knows? And then there's people like me who just can't stand it and we're just really fucked in the world we live in.
But now, it feels more like a quiet afternoon, a good cup of coffee, a playlist that hits at the right time, a moment where you're not anxious about emails or bills or expectations.
That's one of the things I love about being unemployed. I don't got to think or worry about almost anything. There's still some worries I have family wise, but this whole job shit, oh man, I got this meeting, I got this deadline, I got this fucking report I got to do, I got this assignment. Fuck that. The main thing I need to think is, all right, when am I hanging out with my friends? All right, what's the next fun thing I'm going to do? I fucking love unemployment as long as I have some money.
That's what we're chasing. Not riches, not status, just moments where we feel like ourselves again. Like,
But see, this guy ignores the fact that humans are greedy. Once we get what we want, and then once we get satisfied by it, because, let's just say I want a chicken leg, right? Once I get the chicken leg, I'm going to eat the chicken leg, but it's going to take me time to eat it. But once I eat it and then I get hungry again, I might want more than the chicken leg now. This is where people get what they want and they actually like savor it and then they get used to it. They're going to usually want more because people don't know when to stop. That's why we have greedy ass people who have over 500 fucking billion dollars and still somehow want more, as if it changes anything besides a pissing contest between each other that they want to win for arbitrary purposes.
I used to fantasize about quitting everything, just vanishing, going off grid. But then I'd remember
Bro, Golisha
disappearing
was
still
right,
costs
man.
money. Even freedom has a price tag, and that's the part that stings.
Nothing
You
is
realize
free in
there's
this
no escape
world.
without effort, no peace without a plan. You can't just reject the system. You have to replace it with something, and that
Or you have to work within it to get out of it. You can't break the house without the master's tools.
takes time, work, discipline, even sacrifice. But Gen Z isn't afraid of that. We're just not going to break ourselves for systems that
This is where I truly think now because of also this whole fucking YouTube AI is so crazy now. This new AI is wild. But I think that now it takes much more sacrifice, much more grinding. Because again, just talking about economically. Also, this screen is flashbanging me. I'm sorry. Hold on.
see us as replaceable. We're not doing jobs
Okay, there we go. So the biggest thing here is again, if you wanted to live a good life and make it out of the system, out of the rat race, as I like to call it, when you were like, let's just say it's like our grandpappy's time, right? You needed to work maybe for 20 years, and then you would have a lot. Like, again, a whole house, maybe a wife and kids, enough to support them, and more money saved, and all this other shit, car, pet, whatever. We have to work our entire life for what? What are we gonna have saved at the end? What are we gonna like do? Unless we invest in shit, it's like, and if that doesn't work, if that fails and that just doesn't work anymore, what the fuck are we supposed to do? With the amount of money people making, the amount of like things or amount of fuck, how do I say this? With the amount of high cost things there are, because a house is so unaffordable right now, you basically can't save any money. So it's like to get out of the rat race, you either need to like giga grind, get super lucky, or just eat shit, because there's almost no way to do it now. It's harder and harder than ever. It's the same thing as like getting big on Twitch and YouTube. Because things are so much oversaturated on there, it's so much harder to do. It's the same thing as making out of the rat race right now. It's so much harder to do than it's ever been because things are just so lopsided in terms of income and in terms of cost. It's crazy. You pray Bernie, yeah, that's like praying for UBI. Good luck.
That drain us just
I
because
hope
that's
it
life.
happens.
We've seen what that life does to our parents, how it ages them, how it hardens them, how it makes them bitter, even when they don't mean to be. And maybe we're trying to break that cycle. That's why so many of us try to build something
The
else.
only hope I really have is young people get into government fast enough before they get burnt out and before they succumb and, conform to the system, and stuff starts changing, man. You know what the sad part is? Even if he raises the minimum wage, they always say, people always use this argument, and I never understood this, right? They say if you raise the minimum wage, people are just going to raise their prices. So at that point, do we just not increase like the wage at all? If people are just gonna like invalidate it? And this is where me and Vishal actually got into an argument about this one day with, I think, Hunter. Or no, I think it was with Elijah actually. Or maybe it was with Madani. I don't remember. But this is where, yeah, prices are going up anyway, exactly. But then they're gonna get greedy and they're gonna put the prices way higher. It's like what happened recently with the bird flu. When the bird flu was going around, and eggs were costing like $15 a dozen, I guarantee you they were putting that way higher than they needed to. I have no evidence for this, but I can always assume that people are greedy. And I saw this too because some stores I went to had a dozen eggs for $9, and then the market had a dozen eggs for $15. Maybe they're trying to compensate for losing more money. I don't know. Maybe they're just greedy. But either way, this is where I looked up the reality, or I think Vishal was arguing with a friend, but either way, it came from Vishal, where he wanted me to look up an argument people were having, saying, "Oh, if you raise minimum wage to this, then the price of like stuff is going to go up to this. Would it still equate?" And basically, what I found is like, well, number one, the first thing that needs to happen is they need to set a law that like regulates this stuff. Now, at that point, I might sound like a commie or something. Who knows, right? I might sound like I want government to just control every aspect of life, and that's dangerous because if the government's corrupt, then we're fucked. Then they control everything. But in general, there needs to be something stopping people from just setting prices to whatever they fucking want, because it's always going to be kind of supply and demand. But regardless, this is where I searched it up. I forgot what I did because I forget the specific numbers and examples, but I searched up, if you increase the wage to this and prices increase by this much, is it equivalent? And I actually found out that the price increase actually was more. Sorry, the wage was actually more than the price increase accounted for. So the wage increase, while it wasn't 1 to 1, because all the prices of the goods went up, the wage increase actually helped more than what you were getting before. So either way, this is where there needs to be some factor that balances out, because yeah, if I'm making $10 and then something costs $1, that's fine. But if I start making $100 and then they raise the price to $10 for the thing I was buying for one, everything's essentially the same. Nothing has changed unless there's other stuff that didn't go up as much. TLDR, just to, completely trivialize what I just said, just make wages increase. Wages increasing, yeah, other stuff is going to go up too, but it's not going to be the same amount. Because the problem we've had thus far is wages are not increasing enough, and prices are increasing more than wages are increasing. So why can one side happen but the other can't? Well, that's economics, sadly.
Side hustle, a content page, a service, a skill, something that's ours, even if it doesn't make.
Yeah, and what you're saying, James, is actually extremely, extremely nuanced and very true, but it's something they don't want you to know. There's collusion and there's corruption. Collusion and corruption are basically making it so capitalism isn't really happening.
Money yet, even if no one gets it, because at least then it's ours. I've got friends who do Uber at night just to fund their design portfolios. Others who edit videos all weekend hoping to land one freelance client. And I get it now. It's not just about quitting jobs we hate. It's about creating something we don't. Even if it's slow, even if it's uncertain, even if it fails.
I'm investing.
Because we'd rather fail at something that feels real than succeed at something that feels hollow. And maybe that's the biggest difference.
I don't know about that. The whole thing is, if you succeed at something that feels hollow, but you know you have to do it, and then you could get out. I'd rather do that. Like, I know it's not for everyone. I know not everyone wants to slave away and just feel like nothing, but that's kind of how I'm taking what I'm currently doing. What I'm currently doing, I have about a year left, allegedly, right? And I basically said to myself a year ago, like, okay, I'm in this thing for 2 years. I just have to turn off my brain, grit my teeth, and get through for 2 years. And then after that 2 years, assuming everything stays the same and I'm not extended or anything, I basically will have my freedom again and I'll save some money up so I can enjoy myself. So that's basically what I've been doing. I was like, okay, I just gotta suffer for 2 years, and then I know I won't suffer for a little bit at least. Hopefully, like a year or something.
We're not scared of hard work, we're just done doing it for the wrong reasons.
I'm scared of
So,
hard
yeah, the
work.
world might look at us and say we're lazy, that we're dreamers, that we're lost. But I think we're just awake. We know the system's broken. We know AI is coming for jobs. We know job security is a myth. And instead of pretending everything's fine, we're doing what we can with what we've got.
Which
Sometimes that
isn't
looks like quitting.
much.
Sometimes that looks like building. Sometimes that just looks like surviving one more day and logging into a game just to feel something. But it all matters. Because
You
if
know
we're
what the
going to
worst
make it
part
through,
is too? I don't even feel much from games anymore, man. I just do them to pass the time because I have nothing else. Sometimes they make me feel okay though, but most of the time they're an empty distraction.
this weird
And that's mostly on me because I play the same slop.
crumbling late capitalist moment in history, we need to start being honest about what's not working, and we need to start dreaming, even if those dreams feel naive.
Not to get too personal into this, but the games I play are very easy to play like day to day if you have a job.
Because honestly, the only thing more exhausting than working a job you hate is pretending you don't. And it makes you wonder, what would it look like if we weren't constantly at war with ourselves just to survive? What if work wasn't a battlefield but a bridge? Something that connected us to meaning, not misery. What if we measured success by how rested we felt? By how much time we had to create, connect, just be? I don't have
Yeah, what if the world was sunshine and fucking rainbows?
a perfect answer. I don't think anyone does. But maybe a better system is one where people matter more than profit margins, where we're not defined by our output, but by our capacity to grow, to rest, to be human. Maybe a better future isn't built in one big revolution, but in all the small choices we make to care for ourselves and each other. Every time we say no to a toxic job, every time we choose rest over hustle, every time we help someone else break free too, that's part of the rewrite. We might not know what the new system looks like yet, but we know this one's broken. And knowing that,
Yeah, but will it ever change? And it probably will change, but will it change fast enough?
that's where change begins. So, yeah, that's all I've got.
No.
Thanks for listening. Even if you just had this on in the background while doing your taxes or folding laundry or whatever, this isn't a manifesto, it's just a vent, a journal entry. Therapy with kill streaks. And if you're out there trying to figure it out like I am, just know you're not alone. We're all trying. In our own
Yeah,
messy,
we have no choice.
half broken, glitchy way. And that's enough for now.
Wow, that was an abrupt end. Oh my god, look, it's the fucking alien looking at me. Oh god, he's staring into my wallet. He wants my money. So, anyway, yeah, pretty cool video. I mean, obviously a lot of food for thought there. A lot of talking I did. One big thing I'll say, and you know, this is from the person I who sent it to me. If you know, you know. I think a lot of stuff in this video is valid, but I think people take advantage of this shit. I honestly think people use this as justification for doing next to nothing. Because at the end of the day, I forgot who said this. I don't know if it was I don't know who it was. I think it's a YouTuber, but at the end of the day, I believe they said like no matter what, you're going to have to try. You're going to have to work and you're going to have to put in hard work. Now, hard work doesn't always equate. Oh, it was Asman? Oh, maybe Asman said it, but oh yeah, it was Asman. Yeah, perfect. And I heavily agree with this too. Even if you work your hardest, even if you try your absolute hardest, bust your ass, do everything, there's a chance you won't make it. Absolutely. But you definitely won't make it if you do nothing. And I feel like this video, some people will use it and will get inspired, sure. But I feel like the people who sent it to me, the person who sent it to me, kind of uses this too much as a justification to do almost nothing. Now, not to get too specific or too probing into this person's business, there's a lot of reasons why to not do something. Now, there's two ends of the spectrum. There's people like me who I would argue do things when they're not supposed to, and there's people on the opposite side that don't do enough. For instance, when I tore my hamstring from running too fucking hard, I went running the next day. And I don't even want to call it running because I was hobbling along, because you can't walk when you tear your hamstring. You're not supposed to, and you really can't do it. I didn't need to do that, but in my mind, I was like, I'm not a quitter. And again, this is stupid. I fully acknowledge it's stupid, but I still did it. But it shows you the extreme. It shows you the extreme of it. And I knew I shouldn't have done it. But in my mind, I don't ever want to be the type of person to be like, I didn't try hard enough, right? I don't want to be the type of person to be like, oh yeah, it's my fault this didn't happen. Like it's on me. I just didn't want it hard enough. If I'm doing something that I'm serious about, I'm going to try 110%. There's other people who want to, I would say, please themselves, who want to delude themselves and think they're trying when realistically they do nothing and they feel like shit about it. And the worst part is, I mean, listen, if I didn't break my leg, thankfully, but this is where I'm going to blame myself. I'm going to be like, wow, I chickened out, I pussied out, I could have done it, even though I couldn't. But this is showing you the extreme. I don't think people should do what I'm doing, right? It doesn't matter what other people say. It matters what I think, right? If I don't think it's enough, that's the problem. A lot of the times it doesn't matter what other people think, even though it does influence. I think it does have an influence depending on who it's coming from. This is where, though, people on the other side take stuff like this and they use it as justification to make themselves feel better for doing nothing or next to nothing. I don't want to say nothing exactly, but there's a lot of people I know that agree with this, that are trying, that are, trying to do what I would argue is enough. And everyone's line of what is enough really is different, right? This is where there's no clear answer to that. But there's definitely the other people, and I've seen them a lot, where they do almost nothing and they feel like they're doing too much, but they're really not. And there could be reasons for that. There could be mental reasons for that. There could be physical reasons for that. There could be a lot of reasons that are valid, but a lot of the time I see a lot of reasons that are not valid, and they're just justifications for being lazy and to feel good about themselves. Now, again, I'm saying this more generally because this actually applies to more than one person I know, but it heavily applies to certain people. But yeah, that's pretty much where it's at. I would say that this is a good message, but as with everything, it can get twisted in the wrong way. But overall, it was a pretty good video, pretty good.